Fellow aviators, the Ref Simmer here. Welcome to this late night, early morning, mid-afternoon, whatever part of the world you are in. Flight island hopper today in the PMDG 737-700 variant. This is leg 5 of the United Virtual Island Hopper, and looking forward to it. We're hopping from Pohnpei today up to Chuuk, and then from there we continue on to Guam. But made a good progress so far. You can see the weather's a little bit, well, definitely IMC at the moment here in Pohnpei. Rain showers just subsided just a moment ago, right before we began the stream. But we'll go ahead, hop on into the aircraft, and begin our. Oh, looks, rain's back. But we'll go ahead and hop into the aircraft and finish our pre-flight. So glad for each of you that are joining, either now live or later on as this stream continues to be replayed. And as always, if you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, if you have a wish of a place you'd like to see me fly or aircraft you'd like to see me fly, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to fly where you all would like to have me fly. But for now, we're going to be flying the 737 today. We have everything loaded in the MECDU. The aircraft is still being boarded. Right now, for our flight release, we are planning this flight from Pohnpei to Chuuk, and flight release is looking good on my end here. Our planned fuel today at the gate is 18,913 pounds, so we have 19.1 on board, so plenty of fuel. Min takeoff fuel is going to be 18,413 for takeoff. And to get up there to Chuuk, it's going to take 6,524 pounds. So we have a lot of extra because our alternate is Guam, 7,390 pounds. So we're looking good. Our takeoff weight today is 129.2. So we will be right there at our max landing weight for the 700, right on. So we should be able to come back here to land if we need to, if we have a big problem. It'll depend on the weather, obviously, but we should be able to get back in here no problem. To believe current weather right now here at Pohnpei, this is an old weather report. I think it's a lot worse than this now. Obviously, it was showing winds 170 at 3 knots, 13 statute miles visibility, light rain, broken 1600 towering cumulus, and 2981 on the meters, temperature 242.22. Obviously, the visibility is not 13 miles at this time, as you can see when we were doing the fly around into the aircraft. Out in Chuuk, current forecast winds 030, 14 gust at 23, so a little windy up there. 15 mile visibility, clouds, it's VMC, scattered clouds at 400 and 12,000, and 2975 meters up there, but pretty nice day. Forecast is calling for those conditions basically to continue. Just kind of windy out of the northeast. All right, flight attendant said they're ready. That's good. And we're due out, expected departure in 27 minutes. I think we'll be out of here well before then. No 10 wise. Only things, runway 9 identifier lights are out of service down there. That's not going to affect us. And looks like weather service NOTAM, Pohnpei METAR to be used only as the aviation weather for Pohnpei. Okay. Nothing in Chuuk NOTAM wise. For maintenance stats, let's check that really quickly, make sure we don't have any MELs or anything in here. Aircraft failures, good aircraft, nothing is failed. And for our taxi plan out of here, let's pull this up. It's going to be a pretty short taxi to runway 9 this afternoon. 1 second here, it's just loading up. Alright, perfect. So runway 9, you can see it's going to be a straight up taxi and then a back taxi to runway 9 there, our left turn on the runway. To get out of here before sunset, close sunset to sunrise. We have, I think, a little over an hour or two till sunset, so that shouldn't be an issue. No hotspots. Rejected takeoff, it's going to be standard abort criteria, so below 80 knots we'll reject the takeoff for a variety of reasons. Above 80 knots only for engine fire, severe engine damage, or the inability of the aircraft to get or stay airborne. If we do need to come back around to land, we'll likely be here. If not, we'll continue on to Pohnpei. Departure clearance, we're squawking 2000, and it's as filed, which is, let's get the plan mode up, get our rings down. First fix is Pohnpei NDB, which we're showing there. Then it's via our Romeo 584 to Micno. So that's Pohnpei to Buruk, Micno, and then the airport truck. Total distance we're showing is 399. Planned distance was 398. And I also have the NDB to runway 4 in Chuuk in here. So we'll brief that once we're en route after we check the weather up there. But more than likely it will be the NDB to 4. I haven't turned to a visual again, like we've seen the last couple legs on this island hop. All right. Takeoff data wise, here I'll show you the top cat. I do have that set up to where we can check it out. Let me turn off this complete pre-flight window. Okay, here's top cat. Show it to you all here. And what we're looking at is, well, it's not showing all the windows to you all. But I'll compute, we get the latest weather, Pohnpei, compute. So you can see our speeds. It's actually going to be 132 for V1, 132 VR, and 133 actually, and 136. I'm not sure. It won't pull up the window. I was hoping it would. There's another window that comes up in the takeoff landing report, but it's not showing that to you. But this is TopCat. It's a great program. It'll even give you engine out complex procedures, simple specials, things like that, which might do a video on that later on. But cool program, definitely worth checking out if you like to get realistic performance numbers. It's older, but it still works. So the window you couldn't see, V1's 132, VR is 133, V2 is actually 137. I have that set in the speed bucket up here. And it's DTO2 takeoff plus 30C, 86.8% if we did happen to have a problem and needed to set the N1 manually. And trim set at 5.35 today. It'll be a flaps 1 departure also. If we do lose an engine, we're going to go straight out to 3,000 feet, come back around to land here more than likely. And the only terrain we have, there's a mountain up 2,400 feet down to our south. Right down in there. And you can see it's all going to be obscured by clouds this afternoon too. Transition altitude is 5,500 and we have that set, and our ACARS is initialized. So if there aren't any questions, we're going to go ahead and continue with our pre-flight check really quickly. Need to go ahead and get the APU fired up and warming up for us. There we go. I'll start our timer so we can keep track of how long it's been starting up and warming. Alright, pre-flight check. Interior and exterior inspections complete. Circuit breakers check. Nav and display switches are norm and auto. Passenger signs on. Window heat on. Engine bleed air switches on. Pressurization panel set. Pressurization mode selector auto. Mode control panel set. Oxygen mask checked. Altimeters 2981 cross checked. Flight nav instruments checked. Warning and annunciator lights checked. Actually, let me check that real quick. Let's do that. Check the recall and do this, or we're going to do that yet. Speed brakes down. Takeoff warning. Check close. You just saw me do that. Engine start levers cut off. Step trim cutout switches normal. Fire warning checked. Radio transponders set. Radar off. Rudder and aileron trim free and 0. Parking brake set. Windows closed and locked. Flight attendant briefing complete. Departure briefing complete. Logbook secure. H is on board. Fuel required. We have 19.1 on board, and like we said, it was 18.9 required, so we're looking good. That's our pre-flight check complete. Let's go ahead and get all the external power and air, all of that disconnected. So let's switch this over to APU generator. And we're going to request disconnect ground power and the air conditioning unit. And they're currently in the process of doing that. Looks like we are going to have to push back here. There's a weird, well, you can see that's the fuel farm right in front of us. And it's just the way this scenery worked out here for whatever reason. Also need to get the stairs disconnected. Let me do that really quickly also. So ground services. There we go. Release, please. Alright, we can go ahead and get the bleed air on. Perfect. Got everything disconnected. So now I'm going to pull this stairs away. Oh, there we go. Now we can see a little bit of the mountains up to the, or down to the south of us here. So weather is improving dramatically, which is nice. Which bodes well if we do need to come back for any sort of reason. Alright, cool. Flight attendant got our door closed. I'm going to go ahead and lock the cockpit doors closed and locked. And let's do the pushback check, please. Get everything rolling. The anti-collision light on. We are cleared to push now. And transponder, we'll go ahead and turn that on. Alright, pushback check. Doors closed. Hydraulic panel set. Fuel panel set. Flight deck door closed and locked. Transponder, and another rain shower is coming in. And it went away. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Weather just can't make up its mind. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do a quick pushback. I'm just going to have, actually, no. I'm going to use, if it'll let me, I'm going to use better pushback express. Never mind. I'd have to put in the new serial number. I'm not going to fool with that right now. So we're going to use PMDG. It's nice to have all these different options available. Never mind. Flight deck to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We will be ready shortly.
Roger.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Brakes released.
Pushing back.
Are we clear to start engines 1 and 2? Are we clear to start engine 2? Are we clear to start engines 1 and 2? Well, it's not. Are we clear to start engine 2? Start 2 then 1. Not sure where they're taking us. To oil pressure and 1 IGT, EGT, here we go. Fuel flow. Here in just a minute, there we go. Fuel flow and light up.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the screen for an important safety demonstration. Thank you for flying.
Stop pushback. Stop pushback.
Welcome aboard. Before we depart, please remove the safety card from the seat pocket in front of you and follow along as we demonstrate
Alright, there we go.
of this Airbus A320 airplane.
Let's set a parking brake. It didn't work well, so just gonna leave that off. Alright, let's start, let's see, EGT's going down. We're gonna start 1 now. Here we go.
If you're unable to perform the functions described on the safety card, please advise the flight attendant.
Well, I'll try Pushback Express again another time when they come out with another update. Still not working quite right with the PMDG 737. Maybe it's operator error on my end, but it's not quite ready. Alright, there's N2. Oil pressure, N1. EGT.
There are 4 exit doors.
Fuel flow.
2 on each side
Light
of
up.
the airplane, and 4 window exits located over the wing.
Well,
Each is equipped with an evacuation slide that automatically inflates. Each exit is marked with a sign
we
overhead.
need to turn on. I didn't realize we had fuel in the center tank there.
In the direction of the arrow. Open the upper wing exits by removing the cover and pulling down on the marked handle. Be sure to jump into the slide with your legs in front of you.
Alright.
When you're on the
Should be
ground,
getting started. Cut out here very shortly. There we go.
instruments
Starter
for water landing.
cutouts.
Main door slides can be detached from the airplane and used for supplemental loading.
And just waiting on this engine stabilization. There we go.
Water landing.
Flaps
Left
1.
side, look around.
Watch your knees.
Exit nearest your seat. Some cases,
Everybody's clear.
will exit may be behind you.
Otherwise I would check the controls or set the flaps. There we go. Full back.
A life vest
And rudder is
water
not.
activated light is located under or near your seat. It can be identified by a red tab. Do not remove it unless
Rudder's
directed
not
by a
responding,
flight
so that's a problem.
attendant. If needed, pull the red tab to remove
I don't
the
know what
vest.
that's about.
Tear open the pouch, remove and
So
unfold
there's
the
no
vest.
rudder input. Elevator's good. Ailerons are good. Rudder is not responding on there.
Attach the hooks to the
Oh, it's because the tug's still attached. Let's see what's going on here. I was like, something is not right, but that's why you check this stuff. For some reason. Okay. Now let's check. Rudder is checked. There we go. Flight controls are checked. Let's do this after start check here. So you gotta do these checks, man. It'd be crazy trying to take off with a tug attached to you in front of your aircraft. That'd be crazy. Alright, generators look good. Put those online.
Please ensure your carry-on items, tray tables are stowed, your seat backs in full upright position, headrest stowed.
Alright, after start check, generators on, propane on, anti-ice. Standard air conditioning panel set, recall checked, auto brakes R2. After start check complete, taxi check, flaps. 1, 1, 1, green. Takeoff speeds 132, 133, 137 set. Thrust DTO2 plus 30. Step trim 5.3. And flight controls check. Taxi check complete. Here we go. And flight attendant just finished her briefing. So we will begin our taxi out. Get our taxi light on here. Yeah, we'll get a nice, maybe we'll get a little sunset over the Pacific. I'm not 100% sure what the sunset time is here. Might have to check that out. Alright, I want to go ahead and transmit on 22.8. Pohnpei traffic, United 1956, Boeing 737, taxiing from terminal to runway 9er. Pohnpei. Alright, we are still clear on the right side. Excellent. Okay, for our navigation briefing, we're taking off out of Pohnpei, runway 9. That's showing in the navigation display. We're up to level 360 initially. It's a heading of 083, and we'll make left traffic back around to intercept our course toward Chuuk. First fix is going to be Pohnpei, then Beirut. 269 course, and it'll be standard abort criteria. We're at flaps 1, speeds of 32, 33, 37, 37 set in the bucket. Flap traction will be at 1,000 feet, and at that time, call for heading mode, and VNAV will accelerate, clean up, and get going. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start our back taxi now. Clear on the left, clear on the right. Make our call. Pohnpei traffic, United 1956, Boeing 737, back taxiing runway 9, Pohnpei. Alright, let's turn on all our lights really quickly. Get everything ready for takeoff. TARA on the transponder. And once we get a check. There we go, I did my check of the takeoff config, get the HUD down. Alright, before takeoff check, runway position is 9, flaps 1, green. Navigation briefing complete, takeoff warning, checked auto throttle armed. Engine start switch is continuous. Transponder TARA flight attendants notified. Before takeoff check complete. Like we said, our min fuel for takeoff is 18,413, and we are showing 18,900 right now before we get rolling. But a beautiful evening for some flying out here in Pohnpei, out in the middle of the Pacific. And we need this full runway. This is a relatively short runway, 6,600 feet. So if we do happen to have engine failure, we're going to want all of this runway. Okay, runway 9 is verified. Alright, and I have controls. Here we go. Pohnpei traffic United 1956 is rolling. Runway 9 will be departing the pattern to the west. Pohnpei. Alright, 40%. And set thrust. Toga. Momacola. You're Micronesian, excellent. Well, glad you're aboard. We're beginning the hop right now. Alright, thrust is set.
80 knots.
Check, throttle hold, thrust normal.
V1T. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Alright, that's a smooth rotation. Now let's take a look at that. What a beautiful place. Alright, there's our flap and traction altitude. We'll switch to heading select and VNAV. And we'll begin our turn to the west. Alright, flaps up. And after takeoff check. Alright, Momokola, you're going through the basics. You just started playing Flight Simulator. It's pretty tough for you. Excellent. Hey, well, stick with it. Stick with it, man. It is very rewarding. There's so much cool stuff to do in this game, and you can make it as complicated or as simple as you'd like, really, which is a cool thing about it. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. You can explore the world, which is kind of what I'm trying to do right now, doing these United Island hoppers, and I'm really enjoying it immensely. So you have only been to, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Chuuk. You've only been there once when you were really little. I've heard it's a really great place for scuba diving. Is that true? I would imagine so. Awesome. Yeah, it's a great game for sure. All right, we're through our transition altitude of 5,500 feet, so I'm going to standard. For our after takeoff check, flaps are up. The landing gears up and off. Packs are auto. Engine bleeds on. Pressurization panel, it's checked, looking good. Engine start switches. We're gonna leave them in continuous as we climb through the rain showers here. And APU, we'll go ahead and turn that to off. After takeoff check complete. You can see there are quite a few showers in this area. Momokola, so what part of Micronesia do you live on, if you don't mind me asking? If you're willing to share, like I can see here in Pohnpei, the weather was pretty rainy according to the live weather and Flight Simulator. I guess maybe that's accurate. Don't know for sure. All right, I just armed LNAV and turned the autopilot on. Done with hand flying for just a bit. So the reefs help preserve World War II shipwrecks. Wow, that's crazy. And yes, I do fly aircraft in real life. I used to fly commercially for an airline. I'm currently not flying for a living. I had a career change by choice, but I still do have my pilot certificates and type rated in a number of transport category aircraft, so like airline jets and stuff. And so obviously I love getting on Flight Simulator and just sharpening my skills and continuing to, I love aviation, so it's a cool thing. All right, we'll do 10,000 feet. Give the flight attendants the bells. Yeah. Wow, look at this weather here. This is crazy. These clouds are beautiful. So you are actually born mainland USA. Your folks are from Micronesia. Cool. Yeah, I was wondering if you were out here right now in Pohnpei and could confirm this weather. I'm actually pretty excited to see some good weather, like some kind of lower visibility and stuff when I was getting ready to depart. I wasn't sure I was going to do this live stream tonight, but then I saw the weather and I was like, all right, gotta do it. Oh, so they are from Chuuk, and you work on the ramp. Awesome, man. Very cool. I'll tell you, certainly appreciate. It's been really cool sitting in the flight deck. Yeah, absolutely. That's cool you got that experience, and from a pilot's perspective, I really appreciate what you all do on the ramp. Obviously, as you know, operations, they can't happen without a good ramp crew, and that's a dangerous job out there. Would you agree? Really got to make sure you're not rushing too much. You're not gonna hurt yourself or someone else. There's a lot of heavy equipment moving around between the tugs and the belt loaders and the aircraft. And I guess most of the, I'm not sure which airport you work at, but I feel like at least on the mainland, a lot of the airline operations, the turboprops are kind of out of commission, so just don't have as many propellers around, but still, gotta be heads up. Let's get this heading bug centered up there. Very cool. Nice. Yeah, the ramp is the ramp's pretty cool. So do you work for an airline, or do you work at a fixed base operator, like for corporate type stuff, or? Yeah, situational awareness. Yeah, it's critical. I really don't think that like the average passenger realizes just how dangerous it can be out there on the ramp. Awesome. Well, there's some views from the back real quickly as we're climbing out. Actually, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on the temperature outside because it's plus 18 degrees Celsius total air temperature. So that's the outside air temperature plus the ram air rise. So the rise of the air temperature due to the friction on the surface of the aircraft. So it's at plus 18. When it gets to 10 degrees Celsius or below, even though we're down here in the Pacific, these islands, it's still icing conditions in the clouds, which is crazy, but that's true. How long have I been playing this? So I actually started in flight simulators back in the 90s, like mid 90s on Flight Sim 5.0. I got it for Christmas for my parents, and I don't think they realized that. I mean, it was cool. I don't think they realized that they were starting me on like a hobby and an obsession that would continue to a career for a while. So turn the wing off, logo off. Cool. So you work ramp for commercial. Yeah. So you stay busy then. That's for sure. Yeah, it's an important job. There's so much stuff that goes on even behind the scenes, you know, at the airline, as you're well aware of. Like each person just plays a small but critical part in the whole system. It's pretty cool. All right, so there's our top of climb. This is a, let's see, what's our fuel load? We're at 16,500 pounds right now. So at our top of climb, we were gonna plan on, let's see here, top of climb, 15,100 pounds. So we'll see how we're looking on our fuel as we get closer to our top of climb at 36,000 feet. Yeah, man, that's crazy. I had no idea. Icy above Micronesia. Yes. So see, we're 4 degrees away from icing conditions for the Boeing 737. So basically, anytime, like if you're in flight like this, and the total air temperature right here is 10 degrees Celsius or less, down to an outside air temperature of -40, and you're in visible moisture like rain or snow or sleet, ice crystals are in a cloud, you have to turn on the engine anti-ice right up here. So we're going to be turning that on soon, unless we break out of the clouds first. But I'm like we're all the way up at 23,000 feet, so of course it's getting cold up here. Yeah, thanks man. Yeah, shout out to the pilots, stay cool as cucumbers. Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun job. Airlines are a cool place because there's so many different types of roles that you can take in the airline, you know, from the office to training to customer service to maintenance, flying the planes, loading the planes. Like, it's so cool. It's really cool to think about all the different talents that are in, like, choose any airline. Like, there's so many different people with so many different talents there, all working together to make something really cool happen. So it's kind of like the ultimate, it's not a sport, but it's like the ultimate team sport. Like if you like team sports, like you'd really like working in an airline. Because I don't know how to, I always kind of felt like, you know, when you show up for a flight, it's almost like game day, you know, like you practiced for it, you know the rules, and now it's time to perform and like do the best you can. You don't know what sort of variables might get thrown your way by the weather, the aircraft messing up, or air traffic control, but nice. Yeah, enjoy it, Momokola. Hey, look at this. There's our 10 degrees Celsius, and we're 24,000 feet. We got to turn on anti-ice because we're technically in icing conditions now. So, over Micronesia. That surprised me so much. Like the first time I started flying jets, and I remember memorizing the oh yeah, that's icing conditions at 10 degrees Celsius or less, and I was like, oh, I wonder when you're gonna use that. And sure enough, it's like you just start climbing. I was flying in the mainland U.S. and it's like it's summertime, balmy on the ground, and it's like, yep, sure enough, icing conditions up above. All right, I'm going to switch to the outside view of the aircraft really quickly. Just want to see what it looks like. So it might get a little loud. Yeah, look at that. We are definitely still in the clouds. So my other legs on this island hopper, it was, I'd say relatively clear, partly cloudy most of the en route portion. So weather definitely seems to kind of gone downhill over the last day or two. Oof, you got your recurrent for de-icing season. Nice. Yep, it's right around the corner. I never looked forward to days when de-icing was going on. It's I don't know. It's definitely more work for everyone. Well, so what part of the country do you work ramp in? Is it an area that has a lot of snow and ice and frost? But that's the thing with those early morning departures. Sometimes you gotta get all the frost off the aircraft, and it's like you're just getting the sleep out of your eyes, you know? All right, we're starting to break out of the tops of these clouds a little bit. There's still a little higher layer up above us, just a bit, but man, cool. Look. We're just kind of crawling up now, 700 feet per minute. This is a pretty high speed climb though. I mean, we're at Mach 7.7 and accelerating. So this is we're going fast, which is good. Like Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby, going fast. You're in the south, so it's not okay, cool. Yeah, I actually I live in the Nashville area, so yeah, it's like we'll get maybe a handful of snows a year, maybe like a flurry day, maybe one snow that's like 3 inches, and then I feel like we always get some sort of an ice event. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't, but of course it would mess up aviation. And then those frosty mornings in late October all the way through March. But cool. That's right, if you're not first, you're last. And so, what sort of stuff have you been trying out in Flight Simulator, Momokola, if you don't mind me asking? Like, what's been your favorite aircraft to try to fly? Because it's a steep learning curve. I will definitely admit that. Like, it's a lot to learn, but it is totally doable. And there's some really good YouTube videos out there to help get you going in the right direction. And of course, I would love to, if there's anything you'd like to know about, love to try to help answer the question, or I could at least try to point you to a place that would have some good info on it. So Oh, you open. Yes, you do de-icing. Yep. The only good thing about that was like I used to commute to from Nashville to where I worked in Dallas, and I just wear street clothes in the back, and it's like if it was a de-icing morning, I could be asleep, like riding in the back before they finish the de-icing, get some extra shut-eye before getting out to Dallas for work. Okay, so you just started. You're not even done with the training yet. In flight sim. Yeah, it's good. I'm trying to think like what is the best. I mean, the main thing, first thing, obviously, just learning about like the layout of the aircraft and how it handles, like just getting in the air and just flying around. That's always key. Which I tried some of the lessons on there, but it's been a while. I'll have to check them out again. Awesome, dude. Well, thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. I really do. I'll try to stream. I usually stream on Friday nights, and then I've been doing this island hopper trip, so I've been streaming a little more over the last week. But yeah, I try to stream at least once a week, and then I'm also planning some videos to release, mostly about some 737 emergency procedures and things. But yeah, if there's anything in particular you'd be wondering about, or I'm always looking for ideas for content creation, so just let me know. And I always loved like putting together stuff, because I learn too, you know, every time. It doesn't matter if it's something like, even though it's basic aviation concepts, like studying it again, you'll usually find something else or something you might have forgotten, or a better way to explain things. Like it's always it's a cool learning process, so I love doing it. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, this game is incredible because of the scenery it streams. Like you really can kind of explore the world, which I think that's a lot of fun. And this particular aircraft I'm flying, this is the PMDG's version of the 737. It is fantastic. You can see it has all the switches modeled, so you can go through realistic checklists. You can simulate all sorts of different failures, which apparently we have a right 9th stage bleed failure. Okay. There's no indication of that, but you can have like engine fires and stuff, like crazy. So I just discovered we have a failure, but no indication of it. Which means it must not be too serious. Okay, we are now out of icing conditions. We're not in any clouds, so I'm going to turn off the engine anti-ice. So the total air temperature is down to -2 now. Let's see what the, we need to go over here and find our perf. So the outside air temperature now, oh, that's top of climb, it'll be -56. But like when it gets below -40, we don't have to have the anti-ice on anymore. So, do I have special controllers? Yes, I did purchase. I ended up purchasing a flight yoke and a throttle quadrant from Honeycomb. So there's the Honeycomb Alpha and the Honeycomb Bravo, and they're not cheap. It's like $200 each. So I saved up for them and got them. But like, this is one of my big hobbies, you know, aviation. And a joystick. Honestly, if you just pick up a joystick, you're good to go. Like a really good one is, actually have it. It's the Thrustmaster. What's the model number on this thing? Well, I can't remember. It's a Thrustmaster joystick, but it's really good. I feel like it's like the T1600 or something. But getting the flight yoke, the throttle quadrant, got rudder pedals now. Yeah, that really helps with the immersion. And the other thing was I added VR, so having the yoke and the thrust levers and the rudder pedals makes VR outstanding for practicing instrument flight in particular, because you can still get that kind of disorientation that you'd get in real life, which is good. And I would highly recommend the Honeycomb Alpha and Honeycomb Bravo. I mean, I wouldn't get it unless you know that this is something you really want to do, because I mean, they're not cheap. You're gonna end up spending like $400 or $500 to get them. But I mean, if you're really into it, hey, it's worth. I mean, it could be worth it to you. You know, it's definitely worth it to me. I love them. What's the largest aircraft I've had to fly? So for me, that would be the CRJ 900. I flew for the regionals here in the mainland. So the CRJ 900 is the largest aircraft that I'm type rated in. And I actually worked on the ramp for Delta for 13 months, so I do have a little experience with that, working with the Delta ops, which was cool. So that's when I was shocked at how dangerous it can be out there on the ramp. Very dangerous. So certainly have an appreciation for what you guys do out there, what you all do out there. Man, so we are coming up soon on 1,000 feet to level off at Flywheel 360. And then I'm going to set us up for figuring out our descent. Let's turn on a little music in the background while we're up here at these higher altitudes, and just keep it kind of low volume. It'll be kind of cool. So. Alright, there's a Flywheel 350 from 360. So you think you need to get further into the game before you make those purchases? Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend that, because I mean, it's a lot of money to me, you know, $400 or $500 for controllers, but they are very high quality. And I think so. I have like the first generation that came out, and I've heard that they've made them even better since then. So whatever, if you did end up purchasing them, it'd probably be even better than the ones I have, work even better than the ones I have. I can say they do feel the tension on the yoke, it's good. It's a lot like what you'd experience in a real aircraft, which I really appreciate that. Okay, there we are at our top of climb. We're at 36,000 feet now. Our fuel on board is 14.5. And I think we'd said we were planning to level off at top of climb with, let's see, 15,100, but see, that was with us being 317 nautical miles away from Chuuk, and it looks like we are actually at like 200 miles or so out, so I think we're looking good on fuel. Okay, so this is a relatively short flight, so it's time to go ahead and start thinking about, okay, when do we want to descend? And going down. Let's see, you're definitely going to research them. Excellent. Yeah, I'd suggest that. There are a lot of good videos out there on YouTube, and you've worked an A320. Nice. That's a pretty large aircraft, for sure. Large aircraft. I have forgotten everything about working on an A320 from the ramp. Oh yeah, you can't beat these. The graphics on this game get incredible. And I'm running this right now in 1080p, at least on my computer. I'm not sure if it's streaming in 1080p. I'm hoping to upgrade to get some 4K going here soon in the next year. I've been slowly upgrading my sim day after, or week after week, month after month, year after year. So just upgraded my graphics card earlier in the year, and so I was trying to prep before getting 4K. better go ahead and do this before I forget. So if we're going into Chuuk, we use the fixed page here, and we'll put the airport identifier there, Papa Tango Kilo Kilo. And when we're 30 miles out from the airport, I want to be at 10,000 feet, 250 knots. It's all about having targets when you're flying these jets, and always staying ahead of the aircraft in your mind, because it's moving really fast, you know. So I wanna have targets. So 30 miles out, we'll be at 10,000 feet, 250 knots. So we're currently at 36,000 feet. That means we have to lose 26,000 feet to get to that target there. So a really quick trip that's used to figure out how many miles out you start that descent. Just take the thousands of feet you gotta lose, so in our case 26, multiply that by 3. So that's going to be 78 miles out. And, excuse me one second. So 78 miles out. So 78 plus 30, that would be 108 miles. And I'm going to add 5 to that, just for a distance to slow down. So we'll put 113 miles out. So when we reach this green ring here, that's when we're going to begin our descent down into Chuuk. So that's the plan. Momokola, you went from working only 145 to that big old A320. It kicked your butt. Yeah, that's a big difference. Yeah, those little ERJs to the A320. Yeah, I'll tell you though, I used to have to ride on the 145s to get to work, and also while we'd be at work, you know, they deadhead us to move us to where another aircraft was. And I like those 145s where you get the single seat off to its side on the left side of the plane. It's almost like you get a window and an aisle seat all in one. It's pretty cool. But yeah, those are much smaller than the A320s for sure. Got a lot more bags than the A320 too. Did you ever work, have you ever gotten to work the CRJs yet? Like the 200 or the 700 or 900? Or I guess now they're flying the 550s around, which is, I think, basically just a 700 with extra first class, right? At least on United, they fly 550s. United Express. I don't know about other airlines, but... Let's take a look in the back real quickly. Wow, we are getting to the golden hour here. The sun's gonna start setting here soon, which is awesome. Omakola, oh, I appreciate it. No, I'm not judging you. I think it's awesome that you're playing Flight Sim. Hey, I play on the Xbox too sometimes. I really do. I stream it on the cloud on there, and I'll take the F-18 for a little spin around Maui and pop on some tunes on Spotify. I love it. Yep, you worked at 200, 700, awesome. So what I like about the CRJs, and maybe you'll agree, is sometimes you can stand up. You can stand up in the cargo bin, in the aft bin there, like in the 200, the 700, 900. That is so nice to not be like crouched down. I never worked the Mad Dogs in Atlanta. Like I heard, like if you got in trouble, they'd send you down to, they call it Narrow Body Alley, and like you'd be down there like cramping your back all day, load Mad Dogs all summer day long. Cool. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe you like the CRJs too because you can stand up, and it's not as many bags too. But yeah, I liked flying the CRJs, and I liked loading the CRJs. Good aircraft. All right, I'm gonna pull up our. We gotta go ahead and start getting some performance numbers run, and also our approach setup. NDB runway 4 into Chuuk International in the Federated States of Micronesia. So I'll go ahead and get our NDB frequency tuned here. 375 is what it's going to be. So get 5 there, and then you get to 7, 375. We'll make that active. Get our radio set up. We want to show ADF on 1 here. And let's see, do we get a DME? Yes, 116.4. I'm going to set that up in nav2 radio here. That'll give us our distance from the Chuuk NDB. And yep, cool, that's displaying VR2 right here. So that'll tell us how far we are from the Chuuk NDB, and this will help display the Chuuk NDB for us. Oh, Momokola, sorry, yeah, Mad Dogs, apologize. That's the MD80. So like I worked ramp for Delta for a while, and they had MD80s. Yeah, I think they've retired all of those now. Yeah, at least Mayor's the 175. Yeah, yeah. I've never been in the Benz of a 175, but I do know. I love riding on those things. They are so comfortable as a passenger. Like one of my favorite RJs to ride on as a passenger for sure. All right. I'm gonna get a few of these little items set here, and I'm gonna pull up Top Cat and run some numbers. I'll see if I'll try to pull it up on. You're into, let's see, Top Cat. Where is it? There we go. This is Top Cat. Stands for Takeoff and Landing Performance Calculation Tool. And we're gonna plan to land runway 4 in Chuuk. We get the updated weather here. Which I'll run that again soon. Man, it's showing light rain showers now. Winds 080, 10 knots, gusting 25, so pretty gusty. Scattered clouds, 1200 cumulonimbus, broken at 12, overcast at 280. And where did my pen go? There's my pen. Okay, excellent. Altimeters are still 2975. And there are rain showers begin at 46 past the hour. Cumulonimbus clouds north, east, southeast, moving west. Alright, so there's storms in the area, and they're forecast to continue for a while. Alright, let's compute our landing data. So we're showing a VREF of 128 knots. That's our reference speed coming over the threshold there. And the approach is going to be 137 today. Land distance required 4,270 feet, and they're in Chuuk. Let's see, I'm going to turn this off so you can see a little better. And in Chuuk, we have a runway that is at, just waiting on our charts here to load, 6,013 feet, so perfect. So plenty of runway. I'm actually going to go to 3 on the auto lands because gotta run a few more numbers over here. Do flaps 30. What's our auto land distance? I just actually want us to do 130 knots for VREF and 139. So I'll follow that, flaps 30. And auto land with 3 is 5,096 feet required, so that's good. We'll use that. Plenty of runway. Alright, we've got a few notes here at the airport. Airport elevation is 10 feet. We do have that set up here in the landing elevation for pressurization. So set it above the 10. That means we'll be fully depressurized once we do reach the runway, which is the goal. Let's see if there's anything in these notes here that applies to us today. Obviously, everything's already been arranged by United Airlines. There's fast rising terrain is 791 feet above sea level within half a mile immediately southeast of the runway. It's closed sunset to sunrise, so no flying at night there. And concrete fence at each end of runway. Runway 22 is right traffic, so we're going to be doing left traffic for 4. So that all looks good. It does have a rail, Pappy on the left side. and it's grooved. So even if it's raining, there won't be a lot of standing water on the runway, which is good to know. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put in our performance numbers. Momacola, y'all have to work so many numbers on the fly. That's so wild. Yeah, it's a big part of it. Like, there's a lot of math involved, like flying, like, but not like complex math. You like learn a few little like tricks, and then you practice it like every day, like multiple times a day when you're flying in an airline. So you get to learn it pretty quickly. And then there's a bunch of like computers. I feel like the computers do most of the calculating. Just like, I don't know if you've done like the load stuff with some of the larger aircraft, but it's like, you know, you get the computer will do all the calculating for you. Yeah, we don't have to do the fancy math, thankfully. Let's see. So in Flight Sim, you can literally pick whatever plane and jump right in. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's an open world. You can explore anywhere in the world, which is awesome. All right, we're getting close to our descent. I'm gonna go ahead and set in 10,000 feet here in the altitude window. And let's see, how close are we getting here? We're getting really close. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start down. So here's a quick trick. So we calculated a 3-degree path to that 10,000 when we multiplied the altitude, thousands of feet to lose by 3. So a good way to get how quickly you should descend is to look at your ground speed, and basically you multiply it by 5. So for us that's 2,000, and then 350, so like 2,400 feet per minute is how quickly we should descend. And this green bar here in the 737, it's going to show you where you're going to reach the altitude that's set in the altitude window. So right now it's showing we're going to be a little past that 30. So now I'm going to fine tune a bit. I'm going to increase our descent another couple of hundred feet. And there we go. We're spot on. And as we get lower, our ground speed is actually going to decrease because the air is not as thin. It's a little thicker, so we'll probably decrease our rate of descent as we get a little lower. Momokola, sometimes you run numbers if you get hit with rate restrict. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just a lot of like running numbers all through AV, like at least on the flight ops side, right? If you're out there with the airplane, you're probably running numbers. And those dispatchers, they're probably running so many numbers. So you need to turn the ignition off right now. Alright, let's finish briefing this approach. I still have not finished that. I need to do that before we get too much lower. So it's a Chuuk International, 4th March 22, 16-1, NDB runway 4. 375 is the Chuuk NDB there. I'm going to turn on our identifier so we can listen for that. Looks like the Morse code's already coming in to help us identify, and it is actually being identified by the computer too. Tango Kilo Kilo, which matches the identifier. Perfect. And we're getting the DME, we're 93 miles out. Our final approach course is 054, and at Elcook we should be at 1,300 feet. Oops, sorry. 720 feet is the MDA, so let's go ahead and get that set here in the baro knob, our primary flight display. 720. Keep rolling my mouse wheel here. There we go. 720 is set, and it's cross-checked on the first officer's side also. And we need 2.5 miles. It was saying we have 15 miles visibility. We'll see when we get down there. Who knows? It's gonna be a straight-in landing runway 4, which is good. We're actually gonna be going to Deme as our initial approach fix first. So let me get that set in here. I wonder if it'll let me do that. Nope, it will not. Let's see, like, we are like, how many soulless babies are on this plane? Yeah, that's great. What's a DME? So DME, that's an acronym for distance measuring equipment. So basically, it just will tell you how far away you are from a radio aid. So with this particular navigational aid, if you tune in a frequency of 116.4 down there, that's going to give you your distance. So I had to tune that in on this particular radio, and then you see there's another frequency that's completely different, 375. I had to tune that on this. This is like a really old school form of navigation. It's called an NDB, non-directional beacon. So it's old school from like old days of aviation, and they're going out of use in a lot of parts of the world. Like you hardly ever see them on the mainland now. So I'm just shooting this approach because it's fun. They actually they have GPS approaches here that are a lot easier, but I just wanted to practice the this NDB approach, non-directional beacon, old school approach. So, oh, cool, man. Got a hearing test tomorrow. Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, I'll be streaming again, maybe even tomorrow night, because the next leg's up to Guam. So, but yeah, even if you can't catch it live, appreciate you watching later on. You can always comment. And best of luck to you out there on the ramp. Stay safe. Alright, continuing our briefing here. So we gotta go to, let's see if Deme even will. I'm gonna create a 10 DME arc, 10-mile arc around Chuuk NDB, so TKK. There's the NDB and slant 10. Actually, I'm gonna do 126 slant 10. There we go. And we're gonna have to get out to Dame. Spell it out here, Dame. That's pretty cool. You want to learn the old way? Yeah, it's fun, especially like I feel like in the Cessnas and other things, you'll definitely hopefully get to practice the old way some. But like it's not. So this Dame, see how it's IAF, that's an initial approach fix. Like that's one of the first fixes you'd go to if you're going to start this approach. And it's not showing up, wasn't showing up in the legs here, but oh well, I'll fly to it. So I'll put Dame right here. Cool, I'm gonna execute that. I'm still going direct McNo. So we're gonna go to Dame, and it's a 10 DME arc around to the final course that lines us up with almost with the runway 054 at Zyber. There's an obstacle there, 14,054 feet. It's a mountain, so we'll be aware of that. 2,300 is the minimum safe altitude around the airport. And DME is required. Obtain the local altimeter setting, which we already have it. It's 2975, which I'm going to go ahead and get that standing by. Gotta wait till we get to 5,500 feet before we switch over to that. And if we make out the runway, there's runway end identifier lights, which is what RAIL stands for, and precision approach path indicator lighting on the left side of the runway. That'll tell us how high or low we are coming into the runway. If we get to land, you always assume like, hey, we're probably gonna have a go around. If we go around, we'll just make left traffic back around this, like a traffic pattern, a little rectangular box at 1,500 feet. if we get to land, looks like it's going to be, we'll turn around at the end of the runway and back taxi and enter the ramp down here at the southwest corner. So that's our plan. Through 18,000 feet now, I'm going to go ahead and let's do our descent check. Let's go ahead and turn on continuous ignition since we have a lot of the cumulus clouds and stormy looking clouds around. Alright, descent check. Altimeters are for now 2992, cross check 2975 is going to be our altimeter setting when we get a little bit lower. Minimum's Barrow 720, cross checked. Landing data is, oh, I think it's set, did it? That's why you do checklists. So approach, we said it's going to be flaps 30, VREF of 130. There we go, and our wind correction was 9 today. So 139 is going to be our approach speed. So landing data is 30 and 130. Approach briefing is complete. Auto brakes 3. Seatbelt signs on. Pressurization panel is set. Let's take a look at that really quickly. Yeah, cabin's descending nicely, just as it should. And recall is checked. Descent check complete. And just a beautiful late afternoon here over the Pacific Ocean. See the little rain showers popping up everywhere. One other thing I need to set up, I am going to set up our heads-up display. So airport, the runway elevation is 10 feet still, and the length is 6,013. So I'll have that set. Perfect. There's 11,000 for 10,000, and we're gonna level off here. I'm gonna slow us back to 250 knots. And we're here. I'm going to assume they're just going to clear us direct to domain. So we're going direct to domain now. Execute. And I'm going to start to get rid of some of these extra rings and other things we had set up. Like I don't need this 30-mile ring anymore. Don't need that 113-mile ring anymore. I'm just going to set a 5-mile ring for reference. Let us know when we're getting really close to the airport environment. Okay, does the game give me the checklist or do I just know it? No, I actually printed this off. It's so this checklist is a special one that someone I'm going to be flying with in a simulator he created for his home simulator. So I'm practicing it, but we can go down to 2,000 feet. Actually 3,000. Here we go. 3,000 feet. Here we go. But I also will use like their checklist online that you can use. I think the game does have a checklist here. I'll show you. Like PMDG has a checklist that they've created. See everything from electrical, like powering up the aircraft, all the way through the power down. So you can use those too, which is really cool. Ashok, Solanki, love you being here. Thank you so much for joining. Alright, we're through 10,000 feet now. I'm going to go ahead and give the bells to the flight attendants in the back. We are beginning our final descent now. And we need to get down a little bit faster. So I'm going to do level change. Here we go. Because I would definitely like to be at cool, yep, the 3,000 before we get to domain. And then we're going to fly around on that 10 DME arc. Hit the center button here because that's going to help us see what direction that non-directional beacon of the truck, that old school navigational beacon, like it tell that this is pointing straight at it, so it'll help us know where we are. And I'm going to go ahead and make a radio call on the frequency at Chuuk. Chuuk traffic, United 1956, Boeing 737, 20 miles to the east, inbound to land runway 4. We'll be flying the NDB runway 4 Deme transition. Chuuk. Alright, look at this, look at these views here. It's pretty cool. See a few of the islands here around Chuuk. And we're just about 500, or I'm sorry, 1,000 feet away from our transition altitude again. Like we're gonna need to set to the local air pressure for the altimeter. It's actually 2974 now. Just got an updated weather report from the Chuuk airfields. Oops. So let me change that. We'll go ahead and switch over so I don't forget. 2974 is set and cross-check now on the altimeters. Perfect. Updated report from the Chuuk airfields. Winds are 090 at 10, gusting to 20. 14 mile visibility, light rain, few clouds at 1,200 feet. Cumulonimbus. Broken at 1,200, overcast 280. 2974 on the meters, and temperature is 27, dew point 25. So visibility could go down to 0 as we're landing, so we'll definitely need to be prepared for a go around. There's the airport. We got a view. I just saw some lightning, so there's thunderstorms in the area, but there's the runway. So obviously you don't want to land long, you'll end up in the ocean, so we'll try to be careful on the way in. Momakola, is there a working ATC in this game? Yes, so there's a computerized air traffic control. And then also, I'm using what's called VATSIM. It's a virtual air traffic simulation. There's no one controlling this area right now, but I was making a radio call to any traffic that might be in the area, just as you do in real life. And so I usually use that. It's like real humans doing air traffic control. There's some good rain. Make sure I have our continuous ignition on. Okay, good. And 1,000 feet to level off, 4,000 from 3,000. And then I want us to slow to, we're going to slow to 180 knots now. Once we get down, I'm actually going to set our altitude down to 2,300. When we get to 240 knots, I'll begin extending the flaps. Momakola also, like if you're really interested in learning air traffic control, well, I don't think you can use VATSIM on Xbox yet. There's also another one on computer called Pilot Edge. That is very realistic if you really want to learn about talking on the radios. They have a whole training program that teaches you how to talk on the radios, but that's something to do once you're comfortable with flying an aircraft. So, but really a cool thing. Okay, we're about ready to begin our turn now. So I'm actually going to begin the turn now. We're going to begin the procedure. And Chuuk traffic, United 1956 at Deme, inbound on the NDB runway 4, flying at 10 DMER. Chuuk. Let's go flaps 2. Alright, so basically we're just going to keep flying this all the way around until this needle here is pointed at 054, which is down in this area, and then we'll be heading right down toward the runway. And you can see it's showing that DME there, that distance is showing at 10.3. We want to keep it as close to 10 as we can. And the wind is fighting against us. See, that's showing our wind. It's coming from the left to right, trying to push us outside that 10. So I need to turn in just a little bit and try to keep us at that 10 nautical miles. Rain showers are shielding us from the field right now. We can go down to 2,000 feet now. Which I should probably pull up the approach plate so y'all can see that. What's it called? So there's VATSIM, VATSIM, Victor Alpha Tango Sierra India Mike, and then there's also Pilot Edge. That's a really good tool. They have a training program. You can read the articles for free, and they have stuff on YouTube. So we can be at 10,000 feet on this arc, and then once we get to Zivor, 10 DME, 054 inbound to the NDB, we can go down to 1,500 feet. So that's the plan right now. Let's go ahead and go to flaps 5. And we're at 9.9, so we're doing really well tracking this 10 nautical mile ring. There's a rainbow out there. You can see there's a pretty good rain shower on the airport, as that arrow is pointing right at the airfield. So I think the airfield actually might be in the clear at the moment. So we're going to be going through a rain shower on the way in. Pretty cool. And look at this, we're still staying pretty much right on this 10 miles. I'm going to turn this 10 degrees more inbound down to 177. That'll keep us coming in. And we need to do just a little more, do 167 now. Yeah, pretty good rain showers. Now some people have, let's see, okay, this first and then the other game. Oh, this is called VAT. The air traffic control I'm using is VATSIM. So it stands for Virtual Air Traffic Control Simulator. There's a website, vatsim.net, you can go to. It's completely free, but it's only on computers like PCs right now. It's not on Xbox. But I know they've been talking about trying to create it for Xbox. Alright, I gotta get back onto our... Alright, I'm actually gonna put in Zivor now. Our approach course in is gonna be 054. I'm going to execute that. So we got to follow inbound. So we've alticapped here, captured the altitude. 1500 is going to need to be our next altitude that we go down to. I'm going to set that in just so we'll start down to that. And I'm going to arm LNAV so that it'll help us turn right onto that course. It's not doing a very good job, so I'm going to do it this way. Alright, I'm taking over manually for a second, just to try to get us on track. Because we do not need to get off course in thunderstorms and mountainous terrain. So we get down to 1,500 feet now. Set that in. Let's go gear down. Flaps 10, slow to 160. And I'm gonna turn the autopilot back on. We got quite a ways off track there. Try to get us back on. We need to be on a 054 bearing to the station. There's our 1500. And then we go to 1300 inside Whiterup. Let's go flaps 15. Go down to 1300 now. There's our 1300. Alright, now it looks like it's tracking correctly. I'm going to turn autopilot back on. We just got to monitor everything with raw data, so like the actual... Wow, it is not holding our altitude. You see that? It's trying to dive us down, which is not right. So we gotta be at 1,300 feet here. I'm just gonna have to hand fly it because our I don't know what's going on with this. All right, let's slow it down to our approach speed, which is 139. And flaps 25. You just need to stay at 1,300 feet until we get to Elcook. And flaps 30. I have the runway in sight now. You can see the flashing runway edge identifier lights. Alright, and we're right at the 5-mile ring, so we can begin our descent now at 700 feet per minute. I'm going to turn off the flight directors so we have a visual and get us on track. I'm actually going to turn us out to the right so we can have more of a straight course into the runway. And truck traffic, United 1956, 5-mile final runway 4. Truck. So pretty exciting approach here, as you can see. Reducing vertical speed. So 2 reds, 2 rights. That means we're right on track for a 3-degree approach into the runway. Let's do our landing check. Landing gear is down. Flaps are 30 green. Speed brake armed.
Minimums.
Runway is in sight. Continue. Reducing vertical speed. 1 dot low. And engine start switch is continuous. Landing check complete. Yeah, that's one of the nice things about if you have a first officer, you have someone else. Have a pretty good right to left crosswind.
400.
Try to keep us.
300.
Alright, auto throttle's coming off.
200.
Wow. That was getting crazy there.
Sync rate.
Reducing vertical speed.
Sync rate.
Reducing vertical speed.
50. 30. 20. 10.
There we go. Not the best, but reversers are out. Speed brakes are extended, deployed, and let's get back on the runway. Just trying to weather vane 80 knots. Reversers in. And nice slow down. Glad we got in between the rain showers. Alright, auto brakes are now off. So we'll come down here to the end of the runway and do a turnaround. What a fun day to be flying out here in the Micronesian islands here. A lot of storms around the area. It got a little busy there at the end with the autopilot not working. That happens sometimes. You just gotta kill the thing, like turn it off, turn off the autopilot, because it said it acquired the altitude and it was diving us toward the ocean. It's like, no, not doing that. So our goal is to land on the runway, not in the ocean. Alright. So everything's still clear on the runway. And truck traffic, 1956, back taxiing runway 9er, or runway 4, truck. Thanks, Mama Cola, yeah. Yeah, it'd be fun. It would be fun if you could go up. There are ways to do it. I'm not sure about, I think there's a way in Flight Sim, definitely in X-Plane 11, there's a way to do co-op. So, you can see why they have 2 crew members on these jets, like the 737, because Like I started looking down for a second at my checklist, looking at the switch. Before you know it, like the airplane's like very small movement. It'll go from 500 foot per minute descent to 1,000 feet per minute. So yeah, you definitely have to. It's definitely good to have a crew member to help you out. But we made it safely. Like you said, it was got a little iffy there. Yeah, it did. It did get a little iffy. It was pretty windy up there. It was fun. That was a good approach. You don't want to mess around though, and it's windy like that. It's like, yeah, let's get on the ground here. Let's get on the ground. All right, we should have a turn off to the terminal here toward the end of the runway on the left-hand side. I'm just glad that the downpour wasn't over the airport when right when we were coming in there. You will do Sierra Echo Kilo Charlie. Which airport is that? I'll have to look that up. Sierra Echo Kilo Charlie. All right, once we get off the runway here, we'll do our. Oh wow, look at this little bitty ramp. Oh man. Where are we gonna park? I guess I'll just drive right up to that guy there. Not a lot of space on this ramp. There's like a little multi-engine prop plane right there too. All right, let's do the after landing check, please. I'm gonna slow us down quite a bit because we need a little bit of time. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the taxi. Let's get the APU started up, so we'll have some electrical available to us. I don't know if that guy's gonna marshal us or not. It looks like they're just walking around having a good old time. So I'm just gonna park us right in this area. It's as safe as anything. Let me turn the transponder. The transponder flaps need to come up. Let's see any marshalers out here. He's not gonna help us. Don't wanna take that airplane out. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do the after landing check while we wait for a second and see what they're gonna let us in. Insert switches are off, flaps up, speed brake down, radar off. It's still an op in flight sim. They don't have radar simulated yet, so that's good. And let's see where we're located. See, I don't think there's a good way to get in here. Maybe pull us over slightly more to the right. I don't want to take that aircraft out to our left. Larson, Ukraine is Russia, okay. Don't know about that, so. Alright, Momokola, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again on a future flight. Have fun on your flights, and stay safe out there on the ramp. Thanks. Alright, parking brake is set. We'll go ahead and shut it down. It's time to bring this to a close. So get the APU generator on. That's good. Let's get the bleed switched over to the APU. Perfect. And shutting down 2 and 1. And let's get our chocks in. Perfect. Get the ground power requested. We also need some stairs. Let's go ahead and get those on the way. I think it's gonna make us wait until, not sure what it's waiting on. There, I think it was waiting on the ground power. Yep, stairs request 1 left. Alright, anti-collision lights coming off. Wing light, that should have already been off. Get the fuel pumps off except for the APU. It's our last flight of the day, so I'll go ahead and turn off the IRS's transponder. We can turn that on to standby. And let's run the checklist now. Shutdown check. Parking brake is set. Fuel pump switches as required. Seatbelt sign. Turn that off now. Window heat off. Probe heat off. Anti-ice off. Electric hydraulic pumps. Shocks are in, so those are coming off now. Air conditioning panels set. And a collision light off. Engine start levers cut off. Transponder standby. Shutdown check is complete. Go ahead and unlock the cockpit door. And we are safely here in Chuuk. So thank y'all again for riding along. It was certainly was a lot of fun to come out here and enjoy this lovely time. And hope to see y'all again on a future flight. I will plan to fly again in just about actually tomorrow night, more than likely. Flying from Chuuk to Guam. We'll see what the weather's like as we do that. Stormy evening here. See that rain shower is moving its way in. So stay dry. And appreciate all of y'all joining in. Momakola, awesome. Arson, absolutely. Thanks for joining in. And hope to see you again on a future flight. Until then, enjoy flying the friendly skies. I'll see you soon. Have a good night, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you might be in the world. See ya.